brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a front hub on this 2002 Chevy Suburban. And we show you on the passenger side, but the driver's side is the same procedure. And it's the same part and similar process on these Suburbans from 2000 to 2006. And the items you'll need is a new front hub from 1AAuto.com, 18, 22, and 35mm socket and ratchet with a piece of pipe for leverage, T55 Torx bit, 5mm Allen bit, an impact wrench as recommended, 15mm wrench, large C-clamp, hammer, torque wrench, and jack stands. Now you want to just loosen up these 22mm caps. Then pull the hubcap free. And then you want to loosen these lug nuts while the vehicle's on the ground, then raise the vehicle and remove them the rest of the way. Unless you have air-powered tools, then you can do it while it's in the air, and then just remove your wheel. And you want to remove these two T55 Torx bolts. We'll fast forward as Don does this. Now, using a large C-clamp, just put it back behind the caliper here, and the other part right here on the brake pad, and just twist this in. And this is going to push your caliper piston in and make it easier to pull the caliper off. And then just remove the C-clamp and lift your caliper up and off and set it aside. Now, using a flat blade screwdriver, just pry out your brake pad. And sometimes the brake pads can be stuck in there. Just use a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer to pry it free. Now you want to remove these two 18mm bolts on your caliper bracket. And you can see we use a piece of pipe for some extra leverage here. And we'll just fast forward as he breaks the other one free and removes both of these bolts. Now slide the rotor off.
And we'll fast forward here as we just remove the clips that hold the ABS harness to the frame and to the steering spindle. And then there's a clip that holds the harness together, so just pull the clip back and disconnect it.
Now, using a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer, just pry off your hubcap.
You'll need to remove the center hub nut. A few ways to do this. You can loosen this before you take your brakes apart, have somebody hold the brakes and do it that way. You could also use a large bar and put it between the lug studs to hold it, and then use the breaker bar, or if you have the benefit of air tools like we do, just use an impact wrench to remove it.
And then remove these three 15mm bolts. And you want to just use a 15mm wrench and another wrench for some extra leverage. You just pry up. And once you've broken it free, you can just turn it out the rest of the way with the one wrench. And we'll fast forward as Don does this to the other two bolts and removes all three of them. Twist the hub nut back into place just a quarter of the way, and then hammer from the back of the hub. And you can break it free. Then remove the hub nut and pull your hub out. On the left is the old hub On the right is the new one from 1A Auto. You can see they're identical and they'll fit exactly the same. Put your backing plate onto your new hub. And then push the hub back into place. And then just put those bolts back in. You may need to hammer the first one to get it started. And we'll just fast forward as Don replaces the other two and tightens up all three of those.
Then you'll want to torque those 3 bolts to 75 foot-pounds each.
Now remove this clip if you left your old one in, and then feed your ABS harness back into place, putting the clips back where they belong and into those brackets. And then reconnect your harness and clip it back up into place. Replace that washer and your hub nut and just tighten it back up into place. Push your rotor back into place and then twist on a lug nut. And this will just hold the rotor in place. Turn the wheel and put that caliper bracket back into place and replace those 2 18mm bolts. And we'll fast forward as Don does this and tightens both of those up. Now torque both of these to 75 foot-pounds. Now replace your brake pads. And use a hammer if necessary to lightly tap that into place. Grease up your caliper bolts. Put the caliper back into place. And slide those slide bolts back in. And we'll just fast forward as Don tightens those up. And you want to tighten these to about 30 foot-pounds. Now replace your wheel. And then replace those lug nuts and tighten them preliminarily, lower the vehicle and tighten them the rest of the way. Now torque the lug nuts in a crossing pattern to 100 foot-pounds.
Torque this axle nut to 177 foot-pounds.
And put the cap back in place and put it back in. Then take your hubcap and just tighten up those bolt caps. And after doing work on your brakes, you want to pump the brake pedal until it firms up, and then do a stop test from 5 miles per hour, then 10 miles per hour, and you're all set.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.